Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. Today in Planet Zoo, I want to take you through how to start a zoo and how to start making money right away. So I'm going to go through starting layout, everything that you need to start your zoo, and the minimum number of animals you need to start making money. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. First, I went ahead and I paused the game so that we don't tiptoe into the nighttime, which makes it more difficult to just see and plan things out to start. So first thing I always start with is I tend to start with a general path. I don't do anything really special to start with. And I always begin with the align to grid method, just to make things nice and neat and symmetrical. And at this point, I check out the heat map, I go to the power, and I look to see where the free power area is. This blue area means that everything within this area is going to have power, so you don't have to build a generator if you build everything within this little area to start with. Once you start going outside of it, that's when you have to start thinking about where you're going to place your generators and the cost that goes along with that. So I don't have to keep going to the heat maps and the power and looking at where's the circle. I always just do a little guide for myself right about at these edges. And that way I know, okay, I want to stay within here. So from here, I just work on building out my front entrance, kind of how I want it to look. And because I always get to a point where there's a bunch of people going in and going out, I like to just make this as wide as possible to start with, so I don't have to go back and fix it later, but I may still. We don't know. We don't know. I might like how it turns out and just keep it. But we're just going to start building this out. I like to do extra wide walkways in this beginning area. I'm trying to decide if I want to put the facilities kind of back here in these areas over here, or kind of more central. And I think I'm going to go more central and then build the rest of the zoo around them. They're going to be sitting around here. Now, another thing I like to do when I'm starting out is carve out a couple places for some small animal exhibits so that when people come in, they just run right into the animals straight off, they have something to look at, and then they can move on from there. So we'll just go ahead and put those in right now. And because we're starting out a zoo, we don't want to spend too much money. I'm going to try and go with something that's a little bit cheapy, which generally is something like this, because it still kind of looks nice. I don't have to build it out. It has the educational boards already attached to it, and I'll just go ahead and do the double one. So then you just gotta line this up and place it down, and voila, you've got it there. So that looks really good. The facilities are next, and you want to make sure you have these placed before you open your zoo and start letting people in and put your animals in and anything. Actually, I don't think you can even put animals in unless you have a couple of these buildings put down, like the trade center, keeper's hut, some of the essentials, vet surgery. So we'll just go ahead and start placing these over here. And again, we're trying to save money in the beginning. So I'm going to go with some of the smaller options for these and basic ones that I can build them up all pretty looking nice later on. Right now, they're just going to be the bare bones buildings here. And so I want to kind of keep all of this on a grid. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click over on the entrance. And now it's going to add this to the group, the entrance group. So that's going to keep everything pretty much very well aligned to this grid that I've started. You can see right now it's snapping exactly where I put the paths. So go ahead and start lining these up. You also want to keep in mind, you want to keep these kind of far away from where the guests can go. Because if they reach anywhere, if they walk anywhere within this red line, they're going to not be happy. I mean, not for a long time, just while they're in that red zone, they'll be like, ew, gross. So we want to make sure that we have enough space between the main path and wherever we put these. And some of them have larger, what is it called? Let's look up and see what. Negative impact on guests. Okay, so that's what we're calling that. So some of them have larger boundary lines, like the larger buildings, obviously. So if I were to place a big staff room, yeah, that's huge. But we're not going to do a big one. We're going to do a small one right now. We're going to do this little guy. And we'll just place him there. And then I try to do these in some sort of organized fashion. But you really don't. You don't have to be that. You can put them wherever. However you like. I could put this over there if I wanted to. Already got one of those. Nope. Yeah, we need one of... Well, we don't really need one of these because I've researched everything, but we'll put that in there anyways. And then we'll put that there. And last thing is the workshop. So yeah. And that's pretty much all the starting buildings you need, aside from habitats and animals and all that stuff. Oh, I'm forgetting something. Another thing you need before you start is some of the most necessary employees. So we're gonna need at least one caretaker, at least one keeper for now. Definitely one mechanic. We'll take a security guard and a vet. So that's your starting workforce, and no more than that. And eventually we're going to educate these people so that they work harder and smarter, but not right now. So let's finish up with our path. Because this is basically an employees only zone, I'm going to go here and I'm going to use the staff paths. Okay, so what I'm thinking is I kind of want the pathway to be kind of a circular little area right here. And eventually maybe put something here and a habitat right around in this area. And I just play around until I get something that I like. And I like to kind of try to keep it symmetrical as much as I can. Okay, so once I have my basic starting path sort of planned out, I like to smooth all these edges. And I like to start my zoos with the align to grid tool because I'm able to make these large pathways that eventually are going to function really well once the zoo is extremely populated. So it's sort of like a planning ahead sort of deal. So I think we're ready to start trying to plot out some of our habitats. So I'm going to go ahead and choose just a basic barrier. This one's fairly cheap, and I'm going to put some small animals up here near the entrance, and the wooden barrier is really good for the small animals. So I think we'll put this here, and we'll just work it all the way around. Let me move this guy. We'll put you right over here. I might end up deleting that later, but for now we're gonna keep it. I will delete that though. And this one we're gonna move also. All right, so I am trying to work with like kind of a smaller area in the beginning for these typically small animals that don't need so much room. I think honestly, this is still pretty big, but whatever, that's fine. All right, so again, I'm going to use the staff path just to make sure guests don't come in here and try to peek over here where I don't want them to go. I want them kind of to stay in this area. So I'm going to, make this a one-way glass. Okay, and this habitat is ready for an animal. I am going to do a couple things first before I put something in there. I'm going to make sure that I set up some of my guest items, like trash cans, definitely necessary. Seats, some benches. Oops, don't put that there. I want to put a trash can around here. Well, I got two there. No, okay, so that we're good there. Next thing, I try to make sure I don't forget. Sometimes if I don't do this before I put my animals in, I get really excited for the animals and then I forget to do all this other stuff. So we're going to throw in a bunch of these donation boxes. And another cool thing that when I first started, I didn't know that you could change the color of a lot of this stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and just pick some cute colors for my zoo. And let's see. Yellow and green. Oh, no, that's blue and green. Green, although that's pretty cute too. Let's see. Is that cute? Go away. Yep, that's cute. Okay, so I'm gonna highlight that and hit Control D and duplicate that so that I keep those same colors. And we are going to place these wherever guests are going to be gathering. So put one on each side here. And then I'll do the other side later after I put in more animals. The next thing I tend to forget are bathrooms, the toilets. Let's see, 2000. So this one that's decked out and it's decorated and stuff is not too much more expensive than the one that's just basic. So we'll put this in. Where do I want you? We're gonna put you in. Maybe we'll stick you over here in. Yeah, we'll stick you right over here. Yeah. No, do I want you there? Yes, you're fine. That's fine. We'll stick you there. Okay, now some benches. Let's see. What do I tend to stick with some. I always do this one, so let's do something different. Let's do. Yeah, let's go with this traditional guy. Okay. And the last thing I make sure to do here is vending machines. I don't start out with these big facilities because you have to hire an employee to work it, which is going to cost you money. So what I like to just start out, because I'm not going to have a ton of guests right now. They're just going to start trickling in. So I'm just going to have some little vending machines that they can come. If they're thirsty, they can grab it. So they're not complaining about thirst. They have options. And I'm just going to put a couple of these roundabout here. As well as same thing with the food. I'm going to put a couple of food vending machines. And put you by the toilet. So you can grab a snack and go do your business. Okay. All right. Do we have... And, okay, yeah. At least one ATM. Let's take one and make sure. Okay. All right, now let's go. Let's figure out which animal we want to put in our habitat. Let's see what we have, actually. So I'm looking for small animals, something that might breed quickly. Like sand cat might be good. The lemurs, any of the lemurs would be good. That one's already pregnant. Why don't we stick a lemur in here? We'll stick some lemurs in here. I don't want to use my massively good one just yet. Maybe I'm just gonna put her in here. And that's it for now. Oh, so sometimes if you don't hit play, even though you have this all built out with the entrance here and everything, if you don't hit play, sometimes the game doesn't register that it's like fully functioning and usable yet. So you hit play for just a second. I'm gonna hit pause and then we can go back in and put our lemur. Which one is that? Red? There you are. Into zoo. Okay, so now, as soon as I hit play again, one of these little worker bees is going to run over, grab the animal, come and toss it in here. So before that happens, I want to have some basics set up so they come in slightly happy. So I'm going to go to the habitat. I'm going to pick the exact animal that I'm working with. There we are. Red ruffled lemur. And one of my favorite items is something that I found on the Steam Workshop. And I don't remember who makes this, but it's a shelter on a tree is the name. But it's very cool. So what I like to do is, because I like how this looks, it's set up really well. But I usually tend to start off with smaller habitats. So I kind of just want a portion of this. So I'm going to enter the group. I'm going to take and a half this guy. And I'm going to say split selection from group. So now this is its own group. And then I'm going to go back in, double clicked it. So now I've entered the group. I'm just going to clean it up a bit, delete some of this stuff. So this kind of doubles as like a small shelter, as well as the climbing necessities for this animal. And I'm sinking it a little further into the ground. I'm doing that by holding down the shift and moving the mouse. And with holding down Z, that's how I'm turning it. And I'm thinking I'm gonna put that right there. Now, this reminds me, this is a climbing animal. So we want to, first off, raise our barrier. Okay. Why are you not raising? It's interesting. Something is not allowing me to raise this barrier. So we're going to try it again. Raise the barrier. What is going on? Is it too close to the edge? Shouldn't be. All right, bear with me while I try to figure out why I can't raise this. It's normally not that difficult. Okay, that one can raise. I'm just going to go around the whole exterior and find the problem. You seem to be the problem. Why are you the problem? Okay, we're going to get rid of this. Figure out what is going on there. It might have been just too close to the path. You run into these little glitches every now and again. And you just kind of got to work with it. Because this game it's pretty powerful. You can do a lot of stuff with it. But it's not perfect. I don't think it ever will be perfect, and that's fine. That's okay. It's still really fun. Chew up. And yeah. Something was going on really strange with this whole barrier. Okay, so I think we're close to figuring out what the problem is. There it is. Yeah, see? How it's super close, I guess. It's way too close to the path here. And so it's not too happy about it. So that should have been a lot smoother. Sorry about that, but we've got it. We've fixed it. Now we got to go back here and fix that. Okay. So we've raised our barrier. It shouldn't be that difficult, but we did it. But that's not all, because there's one more step we got to take. So I'm going to select the barrier again. I'm going to select the entire thing. And then I'm going to zoom in. So we want to make sure that we put in climb-proof barriers. Very important with these, especially with these wooden barriers, because anything can really climb up this wood. They're, you know, these creatures live in the woods. They climb wood for a living, okay? So we need to put these barriers in, and that is going to stop them from being able to climb and escape. All right, we're almost ready to hit play, I promise you. So next, before I let the animals come in, I make sure that I add in some of their basic needs, like food, their water pipe. I try to stick this somewhere where it's like inconspicuous because it's kind of ugly. So I'll kind of hide it back there. We kind of have their shelter here, and there's a little bed. It may not be enough. Once we get more animals in here, we may have to add more, but for now that should be okay. And then the other really important thing is to make sure that they have enough enrichment toys. And I just kind of go in here, throw some stuff in here, and I'll clean this up later once I start adding foliage and things like that. I just want to make sure that once they get in here, they're satisfied, and that will make guests happy, which will make guests want to spend more money. That's basically the goal with any starting zoo in franchise mode. All right, so I think we have enough stuff. We'll see once they're in here, because then we can check their stats and see how happy or how unhappy they are. So, who's running? Someone's gonna run and get the animals. There they are. All right. And that's how animals are born. All right, so I quickly pause and I kind of go in and look and see how they're enjoying the habitat, because they'll tell you pretty quickly if they're happy or sad. So the social's not great. She wants more little friends. So she's about to give birth to more little friends. So we'll hold off on adding more animals. So let's see. The stress is up. Or down. Social. We were just there. Welfare. So basically, it's not bad. Everything's on track for happiness. The terrain. Okay. Terrain we can fix really quickly. We just gotta look and see what they have, what they don't want. They have too much long grass. There's too much short grass. They want more soil. So this is really easy to fix. We're just gonna throw some soil in, and that should take care of most of the problem. So I'm going to lower the intensity here to very low, and then I'm just gonna be clicking very lightly, because I don't want to plot down a big old pile of soil. I just want to kind of blend it in with everything else. And then see, we're already where they wanted to be. But if you want to go in and kind of try to make it more natural in more areas where you would notice that the animals would go more like around their feeding box, around some of their toys, on the edges of all these things are going to have a little bit more, or a little less grass, I would say. So we're just throwing in some soil. And then you can also add some heavy soil. They're fine with that. They're okay with that. And this sort of helps to make everything look just a little bit more natural and realistic. All right. For the foliage. So, let's see. All of these plants, they're pretty happy with all these plants right now. We don't have to add more coverage or more plants in here because they're pretty happy with what came with our automatic climbing slash, what is this, shelter, excuse me. So they're pretty happy with what's in there now. We don't have to add anything else. We can, you know, do that later once we have more money. So I'm just going to move on and add a little certain touches that we need. Guests will spend more money in your zoo if there's more education. So we're going to work on throwing some education boards in here. I think I have random. Yeah. No random rotate, thank you. So I'm going to throw some of these in here. I'm going to add some of these other education boards that kind of just, they hang out around your zoo and kind of like little billboards of educational dealy bobbers. And then you have to go in and make sure you select like bee population decline. They can stand here and read about bee population decline for hours. So I tend to do like wherever it kind of makes sense. I'll place one of these. We'll put a couple over here. One there, one there. And I'm just making sure that I'm choosing different educational topics here. No, okay. I think we're good on that for now. And then I'm just going to throw in a little education station. I just like saying that. I'm going to throw one of those over here in the middle of this, and then I'll put another one over here. Is random rotate on again still? Not rotated. Shouldn't be. Alright. So, oh, just it really randomly rotated. That's so weird. Okay. Throw one over here. Okay. We're almost ready to open, I promise. Okay, so next, I want to make sure I have a couple of animals in these small exhibits. And I want to make sure that I grab some that breed incredibly fast, because you can take those babies, you can sell them for cash, and that's another really great way to bolster your finances right from the start. So let's see what we can find. Let's see. I think these guys breed fairly quickly. So I'll grab that. And move on. These guys can breed pretty quickly too. One guy, one gal. What else? These ones breed very fast. I will grab that one. Okay. So I grabbed these from the animal market, and so now I have to go down to my animal storage here, and these are all the ones that I just purchased. So I'm gonna select those, hit send to zoo, pick one of the exhibits here, and plop those guys in there. And I'm gonna do the same with, which one do I want? I think I'll grab you, send those guys. All right. And in order to make their habitats habitable, we got to go over here to climate, make sure that they're set up with the right climate. And then go and turn on all of their enrichment paraphernalia, I guess. And you don't have to turn all of them on. Honestly, you only need about one from each of these levels to make them 100% happy. But I just like how it looks stuffed. So I'm going to turn all of those on. Now, the only problem here is that in order for the climate to change, we have to hit start. So that's why I kind of like to do these last and make sure everything is set up, because guests are about to start coming into the zoo. So I don't want any of the animals looking sad when they come in. So I want to start getting that money right away. So I'm just going to set up the educational boards here. Make sure those are all running. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. So this is my starting zoo. This is how I start. One animal, two of these guys, two of these little tiny exhibits, and then my staff. And that's how I start before I even allow people to come into the zoo. So we're gonna hit play, and I'm just going to watch and make sure the climate goes exactly where I want it to go. I'm checking that one. Okay, these are good. So everything is good here. We have 5,000 left from our starting finances, which is not too bad. I can honestly take this. I can set up at least like one or two more of these guys, or I could set up a whole other habitat before I really run out of money, which I might do, but I'm gonna let some people coming in. And if you look, check this out. These guys are sweating their asses off. So I forgot. I started this zoo in tropical. So if you've ever been to a really tropical area, it is sweat on your balls hot, okay? So if you want to check and see how hot it actually is for our guests right now, let's go to the temperature. It is Hades. Okay, it is. They have just entered the 9th circle of hell. So yeah, we are going to want to cool these guys down, or they're not going to be very, very happy. I don't even know. Let's see if they're even complaining right now about it. Nope. Surprisingly, no one's complaining. So if your guests feel like they're living in a volcano, chances are a lot of your animals are going to feel that way too. Although not all of them. Some of them will feel perfectly at home in a tropical setting, which is what this is why we have a red ruffled lemur. I'm just going to go ahead and pretend like I planned that. So yes, they love the tropical heat. They're fine with it. Otherwise, under habitat, yes, temperature. Otherwise, this would be in the red, and they would be a very unhappy animal. So, but I do want to help my guests out to feel kind of cooler and not like they are about to melt into the sun. So we're going to go, we're going to go to habitat. We're going to go to the heaters and coolers. We're going to add a cooler. I'm going to start this off. I'm going to add that to this group just for the heck of it. I don't need to, but I'm going to. So I'm gonna put one right here at the entrance. And then I'm going to, I don't want it to be that cold. I want it to be sort of in this yellow. So I'm thinking, so I'm gonna put it at 17 degrees Celsius, which is about 62, 63 degrees Fahrenheit, something like that. Honestly, that seems a bit cold. I'm gonna go to 20, which is about 68 degrees Fahrenheit. So I think that's pretty good. Now I want to place these wherever the path kind of is, wherever the guests are gonna go. I'm gonna hit Control D so that it's gonna copy this guy, and I don't have to change the temperature again. It's gonna save that temperature. Now here's one thing you can do. You can either put this here to where it's visible and you can see it, but if you don't like the way it looks, you can always take it and put it underneath the path, and then your guests can't see it, you can't see it, it's just there, it's cooling them down, but it's not an eyesore. Now in some of these areas, I don't mind looking at it. It's, you know, it's fine. Other areas, like in the middle of a path, I might sink it down. Like I might put one under here and sink it. And then I might put some over here, already sunk down, kind of edging the path here. Yep, there we go. That's easier. Problem is, I wish you could keep this off. I'll put one there. I'll put one here. Let's see. There and there. One down here. And so what I do is I'm going to zoom out. And I'm going to keep the heat map on. And I'll hit play. And I'm just going to look and see and make sure I didn't miss any critical areas. Because it's going to slowly... There, you see it's happening. It's going to slowly start cooling all the area down. I'm just going to do a couple more in these little areas where guests are still showing red. Just to cover all the area. And I'll even go in, and even though my staff doesn't ever complain about it, I don't know, I'm gonna cool them off as well. There we go. Everybody's happy. So as you can see, we're not quite making a profit yet. But as you can see, more and more people are coming in. We may even click on the entrance here, and we're going to go up to $5. Oh, so apparently I forgot to put down a quarantine. Well, let's go ahead and do that. Quarantine. And that is just gonna fit. Yep, that is just gonna fit right there. Oops. That tree out of the way. There we go. Perfect. All right, and that basically took up most of our money. Now, if I wanted to, I could take out a loan by going here, clicking on this. It's going to bring up the finances, going to the loans tab, and then you have these options for loans. I will either take the 20 or the 50. And then I will build at least one or two more small animal habitats. which I may end up doing here in a minute. But we're just going to speed this up and see if this is enough to start bringing in money. So we're only in May. We're not really going to know exactly how much we're going to make or lose until, you know, the whole year is over. Because things are still happening. People are still getting paid. You know, there's taxes we have to worry about. Not too much, but a little bit. Yeah, so mostly right now it's the habitat area tax. And this is another reason why I like smaller habitats to start with, because you get taxed for the larger ones. So honestly, it looks like we're going to be making some profit this year. Yeah, we're already up 6,000, almost 7,000. So yeah, as you can see, we are turning a profit. You know, we're almost through the year, but it's looking pretty good. I don't see anything popping up and, you know, taking what profit we've made so far. So this is how you would start a basic zoo and start to make money very quickly without going into the red. You know, very basic stuff, basic facilities, couple small exhibits, one animal habitat, and that's enough to get things going. See, we're already in 10,000. Now I could easily, without even having to take a loan out, I could start building another habitat just like this one, maybe for a raccoon, and bring in even more money even faster. So I think that's going to be it for this episode. And next time we'll build this out. We may go into, we may go into work zones, staff education, and decorating with some construction. So I want to thank you for joining me. If you found this video helpful or entertaining, please hit the like button, please subscribe, and I will see you next time.